On today's episode of We See Monsters, we are going to learn about Arizona's top 5 most haunted hotels in the state. At number 5, we have the Hotel San Carlos in downtown Phoenix, which opened its doors on March 19, 1928, and at one point was widely known as being one of the most upscale hotels in the region. It welcomed A-list celebrities including Marilyn Monroe and Gene Autry and was a regular hangaround for politicians. The site of Hotel San Carlos also has some interesting history before it was established, as it was once a Native American worshiping ground. In 1874, an Adobe elementary school existed on the lot up until 1919 when it was demolished and taken over by developers with the plans to establish a luxury hotel. In May of 1928, only 2 short months after the grand opening, a young woman by the name of Leone Jensen jumped out of the 7th-story window, resulting in her death. Nobody knows the real reason why Leone took her life, although there are a couple of potential theories. Some people believe Leone was abused by her partner and had enough, and others believe she was pregnant at the time after having an affair with one of the hotel employees. Leone's ghost has been reported roaming the halls on the 7th floor where she took her final steps, and other guests have reported seeing her ghostly apparition on the 3rd floor where she checked out of her hotel room on that fateful day. Another tragedy occurred in 2004 when a man checked into the San Carlos and abruptly jumped off the roof to his death, adding another frequently cited spirit to the tragic history of the Hotel San Carlos. Many guests have also complained to management about hearing a group of children laughing and throwing a ball around in the hallways at odd hours of the night. And some have seen the apparition of a young girl hiding in the corners of their room upon entering, and others have been woken up to her ghost staring back at them at the foot of their bed in the middle of the night. The ghostly children are believed to be the long-lost spirits of those who once attended the old schoolhouse before the hotel was established. And it is rumored that many of those children died during the Spanish flu outbreak. At number 4, we have the Hotel Montevista in Flagstaff, which was established in 1927 and is located just off of Route 66. The hotel began its time attracting show business and hosting celebrities such as John Wayne and Bing Crosby, just to name a couple. John Wayne was the first guest to report a ghostly sighting in the 1950s. He claimed to have been startled by a wispy apparition greeting him upon entering his hotel room, although he stated the spirit did not seem to give off any malevolent vibes. Montevista had a variety of guests who are rumored to have checked in and never left the building. The ghost of a bank robber is seen in the bar area after he was found dead several decades ago. Many fights and shootouts occurred, adding on to the list of lost souls. Another story involves a strange man who checked into Montevista and hung meat from the chandelier in his hotel room. He was found dead just a few days later. And then there's the tragedy involving 2 sex workers who were murdered and thrown out of the 3rd-story window. Lastly, there are tunnels that run under the Hotel Montevista that are connected throughout Flagstaff, where brothels and drug dens often ran business in secret. The front desk often claimed to get phantom phone calls from vacant rooms and have heard raspy breathing or conversations in the background before the call is disconnected. As a result of all of the strange deaths over the years, it's no surprise that guests and employees report all sorts of strange phenomena throughout the hotel. At number 3, we have the Copper Queen Hotel in Bisbee, which was constructed in 1902 and is Arizona's longest continuously operated hotel. Bisbee was once a booming mining town in its heyday, and the Copper Queen Hotel was originally built to host potential investors for the copper mine. The most commonly seen spirit to roam the halls is of a former sex worker named Julia Lowell, who conducted her business out of the Copper Queen. Julia was a very attractive woman in her 30s who was known to get a little handsy with the male visitors. During her time at the Copper Queen, she fell in love with a married client of hers who did not return the same feelings, leaving her absolutely heartbroken. Julia then made the rash decision to not continue life without the man she fell in love with, and she eventually ended her life in her room. Her ghost is often seen by the bedside of male visitors, and they often wake up feeling someone touch their feet or whispering in their ear. Guests have also seen her ghostly form dancing alone at the base of the staircase. Another spirit to reside in the old hotel is of a young boy named Billy, who was the son of one of the hotel workers. Billy tragically passed away after drowning in the nearby San Pedro River when a strong current took him downstream. Billy's death left a mark on the hotel staff and frequent residents as they absolutely adored having him around the hotel. Children who visit the hotel with their parents are often seen playing with an invisible friend, and adults often claim to hear his laughter in or around the hotel rooms. Guests report hearing a child running down the hallways and giggling, but it is reported that only children are able to see Billy's ghost. Some hear the sounds of running water and a child crying, almost as if the events of Billy's last moments are taking place. Another ghostly visitor is of an unnamed man with a beard, black cape, and top hat. He is often spotted smoking a cigar on the 4th floor, and guests have reported to see his shadow figure around corners of the hallway or sitting on their bed at night. These are just a few of the commonly reported spirits to haunt the Copper Queen Hotel, although paranormal investigators believe there could be up to 16 total ghosts that still roam its halls. At number 2, we have the Hotel Congress in Tucson, being built in 1919, with several stories to tell over its history. The hotel has endured a massive fire, gruesome deaths, and was even a hideout for the infamous outlaw John Dillinger and his gang. Most of the hauntings occur at 2 a.m., primarily on the 2nd floor, resulting in several guests fleeing their rooms or checking out altogether. According to the owners, they often get reports from guests stating their rooms make them feel incredibly dreadful or like they are constantly being watched by unseen entities. Many of these ghostly apparitions appear to be from the early 20th century, and one common encounter is with a man wearing a top hat who often appears peeking around corners of the office before suddenly disappearing. A longtime resident of 36 years and previous handyman of the hotel named Vince resided in room 220 and passed away in 2001. Vince is believed to be responsible for continuing his repairs even long after his death, as hotel staff often find tools moved around or fixtures seemingly repaired on their own after needing maintenance. Guests have reported to see a beautiful woman who smelled like roses in a black dress, who did not appear to be an apparition at first sight, that is, until she completely faded away right before their eyes. A former gangster who stayed at the Hotel Congress by the name of T.S. has been spotted wearing his pinstripe suit and looking out from a second-story window in an otherwise vacant room. Room 242 has the most reported paranormal activity, after a woman staying there shot and killed herself after enduring a mental breakdown and having a standoff with police. Guests who stay in room 242 have been startled awake by a woman whispering in their ear or have seen a dark shadow figure lingering by the door. Some people have seen her apparition standing behind them in the bathroom mirror, resulting in several guests who check into her room only to immediately check out. Hotel Congress is known to have residual hauntings of spirits that seem to be stuck in time, repeating the same motions over and over as they once did while they were still alive. The hotel has been investigated by many big-name paranormal groups over the years, and it is believed that the ghosts are impressions of the long-lost people who are stuck in the past and make an appearance to guests and hotel staff. At number 1, we have the Jerome Grand Hotel, which was originally constructed in 1927 as the United Verde Hospital, servicing the local miners and their families. The hospital operated until 1950, when the town of Jerome suddenly fell silent and the busy streets became nearly abandoned. Phelps Dodge Mining Corporation took it upon themselves to protect the old United Verde Hospital from potential vandals and squatters. The empty building remained furnished as a hospital throughout the years, and one of the caretakers hired by Phelps Dodge was found dead and hanging in the engineer's room. The police department would keep eyes on the desolate building overlooking Jerome at the top of the hill. It wasn't until 1994 when the building was purchased with plans to open a luxury hotel. Since it opened, guests and employees began reporting strange phenomenon throughout the hotel, and it soon became widely known for being a hotspot for paranormal activity. It is believed many of these ghosts are the former patients who passed away during its time as the United Verde Hospital. The sounds of coughing and wheezing can be heard outside of hotel rooms, and it is believed to be from the patients who suffered from tuberculosis. The ghost of a doctor carrying a clipboard, accompanied by a nurse and a patient, have been seen wandering the halls together as if they were still stuck in time. Paranormal investigators have seen who they believe was the head nurse hanging around the lounge and restaurant area, which used to be the main entrance of the hospital. A guest reported the sounds of a baby crying in the room next to him in the middle of the night. However, hotel security concluded that the room was vacant. The ghost of a young boy believed to be 5 years old has been spotted running up and down the hallways, either laughing or crying, and some guests have been startled awake by his presence, standing at the foot of their bed in the middle of the night. And lastly, the ghost of Claude Harvey, who was a hospital maintenance worker, is often spotted in the basement and around the elevator. Claude was found deceased under mysterious circumstances in 1935 after being pinned under the historic Otis elevator. Many people believe Claude was murdered, although the United Verde Hospital never investigated his death because they did not want to be reliable. There is a common theory that his body was actually placed under the elevator in an attempt to make it look like his death was an accident. Claude appears to still be working after death. If you want to book a stay during spooky season at the Jerome Grand Hotel, be sure to plan far in advance as the hotel is typically booked up rather quickly for the month of October. For more spooky content, you can click the links below to check out my TikTok and listen to the We See Monsters podcast.